Welcome, all those who have showed interest in the new designation of King Sejong Institute. King Sejong Institute Foundation, a public institution under the Ministry of Culture, Sports, and Tourism, promotes the designation of a new King Sejong Institute every year to spread the Korean language and culture abroad. We will now find out about the designation of a new King Sejong Institute in 2025. First, please allow me to explain about the direction and screening method to be implemented in the new designation of King Sejong Institute. Every year, a new King Sejong Institute is designated in areas where there is a high demand for learning Korean language and culture. As a matter of fact, in 2025, we plan to designate additional areas where demand for Korean language and Korean culture can be expanded, considering the regions without King Sejong Institutes and the presence of online environment of countries. We started to receive applications starting in November and will continue to receive them until February next year. We will then review them from March to May, before announcing the final results in June 2025. In December, during the period of application, our foundation will provide information sessions and opportunities for consultations in order to help institutions that are preparing to apply. The screening for the designation of King Sejong Institute will be preceded with document screening at Stage 1, on-site inspection at Stage 2, final evaluation at Stage 3. For a fair and objective screening for the new designation of King Sejong Institute, the Sejong Institute Designation Review Committee, which consists of experts from related agencies, will review an applying agency's performance ability, educational capacity, and location. Next, let's take a look at the types of applications and requirements in applying for King Sejong Institute. Applications for King Sejong Institute are categorized into those for the independent type or the associated type. Independent type refers to an institute operated solely by a local operating institute, and King Sejong Institute Support Fund execution and settlements are handled by the local operating institute. Associated type refers to an institute operated through collaboration between a Korean operating institute, such as universities or non-profit organizations in Korea, and a local operating institute. With the associated type, the role of making settlements with the support fund is assigned to the operating institute in Korea, and a local operating institute receives funds from the operating institute in Korea and executes transactions. Now, let's take a look at the requirements that an applicant will need to meet in order to prepare for applying for the King Sejong Institute. A subject of establishment should be an institution that intends to operate a Korean language education institution for the purpose of public interest, such as a government agency, university, or university-affiliated institution, non-profit corporation, or private organization. No individual or profit-oriented private institutes can apply for King Sejong Institute. If the local operating institute is a non-profit organization or a private organization, the CEO and executives of the organization must all reside in the corresponding country. Next, in order to operate King Sejong Institute, 2 classrooms must be provided to accommodate at least 10 students so that Korean and Korean culture classes can be held. Also, there should be an administrative space for the administrative affairs of King Sejong Institute and for faculty to prepare for lectures. The materials room of King Sejong Institute are available for public use depending on the circumstances of the local institution. In addition, please note that you cannot apply for inappropriate facility, shared office, home, leases of facilities unrelated to the operating institution with King Sejong Institute. The staff of King Sejong Institute consists of the director, teachers, and operation personnel. As one who oversees the direction and operation of King Sejong Institute, the director should be in a position where he or she can represent the operating institute of King Sejong Institute. As for Korean language teachers of King Sejong Institute, he or she should meet one or more of the following requirements. 1. The person should have a Korean language teaching certificate. 2. Has completed a Korean language teacher training course. 3. Has a bachelor's degree or higher and has at least 1 year of experience in Korean language teaching. Although it's important to recruit teachers who meet these requirements first. If this is difficult to do to local circumstances, please fill out the online application form for the dispatch of Korean language teachers of the King Sejong Institute Foundation, including whether teacher's visa can be arranged for the relevant school year once the institute is designated. If there is no applicants for foundation dispatched teachers in King Sejong Institute, pilot operation may be delayed or not available. Recruiting operation personnel to be in charge of administrative affairs at King Sejong Institute is also an important requirement. Since the administrative work of King Sejong Institute is executed in Korean, please secure at least one Korean or Korean-speaking operations staff member. Since the director, teachers, and operation personnel of King Sejong Institute work on-site, so they should be hired after checking whether they have a proper visa to work there legally. Furthermore, all teaching staff and operating staff must be able to sign a legal employment contract with the local operating institute. If an institute is designated as a King Sejong Institute for the first time, it must undergo a trial operation period of 6 months, and during this period, it must plan and operate at least 2 elementary or intermediate courses for approximately 15 weeks. Once an institute is designated as a King Sejong Institute, the foundation provides funding to support the institute's operation. In regards to funding, it is critical that a dedicated account be opened with the account holder set as the operating institute to receive King Sejong Institute funding for managing financial transactions. Therefore, make sure to submit the details of such an account when making an application. When the Republic of Korea government has provided an operating entity with similar service support that overlaps with or duplicates the service purposes or contents of the KSI, it is not available to apply. Now, let's see which documents should be prepared by an institution for a King Sejong Institute. Mandatory documents that must be submitted by all applicants are the implementation pledge to fulfill the contract for the consignment of the King Sejong Institute, a business license or an official institution certificate of the institution. In the case of an associated type application, additional MOUs from both domestic and local institutes should be submitted. In addition, if the applicant is a non-profit organization, the Articles of Association and list of registered directors should also be submitted to verify the year of establishment, purpose of establishment, etc. All documents to be submitted must be uploaded as an attachment to the online application system for designation of New King Sejong Institute, and any documents in a foreign language must include a notarization of the original and notarization of a translated copy Korean, as well as an apostille confirmation or consulate confirmation. If designated as King Sejong Institute, the King Sejong Institute Foundation will provide various support, including operating basic education courses, dispatching Korean language teachers, and running Korean culture education programs, etc. Next, let's find out how to fill out the application for a newly designated King Sejong Institute. First, the applicant will check the application requirements, including the required documents, and be familiar with the operational regulations, operation guidelines, and agreement of entrustment for King Sejong Institute. Applications can only be completed and submitted through the online application system, so please refer to the examples before completing your application. Please be aware of the deadline and time for submitting the application specified in the notice and submit it after the final review. And please be careful that the submission is completed before the deadline. Next, let's find out how to fill out an application. First, enter the online application system address in the internet browser and log in. If you already have an old application system, apply, or New Business Management System, NBMS account. Enter your ID and password to log in, and if you do not have an account, press the Sign Up button to proceed with the sign-up process. When signing up for the King Sejong Institute Business Management System, you must consent to the terms and conditions and consent to collect personal information to sign up. You may refuse to provide consent, but in such case, applications for new King Sejong Institute may be difficult. Once all information is entered, the sign-up process is complete. Click the Apply New Institute menu on Business Information on the left menu bar. To complete the membership sign-up procedure, fill in all the necessary information, and you will be presented with information about the 2025 new King Sejong Institute Designation Program. Check the program schedules and attachments, and then click the registration button below. Please check the operation regulations of King Sejong Institute, Agreement of Entrustment for King Sejong Institute, and Consent of Personal Information Utilization. In the Institute Basic Information, please enter information regarding the planned site for the institution. When entering applying organization information, the input field changes according independent type or associated type selection. If independent type is selected, information of the local operating organization must be entered. If associated type is selected, information of the local operating organization and operating organization in Korea must be entered separately in each input field. Please enter the information about representative and operator of the applying institution. The operator here should be someone who can actually contact the King Sejong Institute Foundation regarding operations of the new King Sejong Institute designation. If the corresponding organization cannot be searched, press the Register button and register information of the applying organization. Enter information of the representative and staff in charge at the applying organization. The staff in charge information must be of the individual who will undertake the role of communicating and coordinating work related to the designation of King Sejong Institute. You should provide information regarding the country of the planned site, regional information, the current status of the demand for Korean language and culture, and the supply status of the planned site of King Sejong Institute. After this, please attach all the photos of the planned site of the institute. The attached photos must be photos of the actual building, lecture rooms, administrative rooms, etc., and cannot be falsely registered. After downloading the pledge for implementing the business consignment contract for King Sejong Institute, the head of the application institution should confirm and sign all the pledge where required. After uploading all mandatory required documents, be sure to click the Save button and move on to the next step on the right. Next is a business plan. After writing institution's background and purpose of pursuing this project for the new designation of King Sejong Institute, enter short-term, medium, and long-term business goals and detailed activities. Finally, after indicating the expected effects, proceed to the next step. Next, let's find out how to fill out information regarding the operation plan for King Sejong Institute. First, please fill out information regarding the institute director and those who will serve as staff. For Korean language teachers, enter the number of teachers who meet the Foundation's 3 qualification requirements for Korean language teachers at King Sejong Institute. If the teacher meets more than 1 qualification requirement, enter the highest qualification. For example, if a prospective teacher has both a Korean language teacher's certificate and a Korean language teacher training certificate, you should enter the one who has a Korean language teacher's certificate, which is a higher qualification. If the applicant does not have a Korean language teacher who meets the requirements of qualification, download and fill out the application form to request teachers from the King Sejong Institution Foundation and attach it. Please register all the resumes of the institute director, operating personnel, and prospective teachers. In addition, if the institute director concurrently serves as operating personnel or a Korean language teacher, the resume should be registered twice for each one. Enter the academic history, experience, and other qualifications, and then register. In the case of teachers, the Korean Language Teacher Certificate, and a Certificate of Completion of a Korean Language Teacher Training course, which serve as evidence corresponding to the requirements of Korean language teachers at King Sejong Institute, must be attached so that the qualifications of teachers can be verified during the examination. For the facility overview, please enter information about the space used as the actual King Sejong Institute. There must be 2 classrooms that can accommodate at least 10 people and 1 administrative room, so take this into consideration. After clicking the Facility Status Registration button, please indicate the area and capacity of the facility as accurately as possible. Also, you should enter information on the equipment and devices currently held by the institution, which can be used for the operation of King Sejong Institute. Next, it's time to write a class operation plan. Press the Semester Registration button to register a semester. The term of the semester shall be at least 15 weeks for 6 months from July to December 2025, which corresponds to the trial period when the new King Sejong Institute is designated. After registering a semester, press the Course Registration button to enter course information. At least 2 basic courses must be operated during the pilot period, and in principle, each course should be operated for at least 45 hours within 15 weeks. Please fill out other curriculums in consideration of local learning demand. Register the course by referring to the basic curriculum of King Sejong Institute. If tuition fees are received from King Sejong Institute, enter information about the tuition plan. Lecture fees can be set independently by the institute by considering the duration and contents of the education. Fees must not be set excessively high considering the public nature of King Sejong Institute and support from the foundation. Enter the event plan and promotional plan and then move on to the next step. The following is a description of the terms related to budget planning. Business expenses for King Sejong Institute consists of subsidies, self-payment, and revenue. The subsidy is the amount of money that the King Sejong Institute Foundation provides to the King Sejong Institute with subsidies received from the Korean government. The self-payment is the amount that institution invests in the form of direct capital. Investing in self-payment is not mandatory. The proceeds are the amount incurred through the operation of King Sejong Institute, including the tuition fee for the King Sejong Institute. Revenues are not mandatory too. Write to estimate subsidies for the period from July 2025 to December 2025, 6 months. Refer to table below the guides. Subsidies on the budget plan indicated by the institution can be adjusted after the King Sejong Institute Foundation reviews the appropriateness of the budget. The budget plan should be filled out by referring to the example of the application form for the designation of the new King Sejong Institute in 2025. Self-payments are recognized only as direct capital. In other words, it should be cash input. If the operating institution supports proxy purchase or spot trading, the relevant corroborating documents should be submitted. For the proceeds, please enter the amount expected in the future. If you do not receive tuition fees, please indicate it as 01. Next, please indicate domestic and foreign media coverage of the institution and submit a recommendation letter that recommends the institution. If you do not have a letter of recommendation, please indicate it as none. Lastly, please check the application status for missing details and recheck for missing content. Please note that it cannot be modified after the final submission. Check the status of the application on the Confirmation Submission Results page. If the final saved status is temporarily saved, it will be marked as temporarily saved. If submitted, it will be shown as submission completed. You can check the details of the application by clicking on the application name. So far, we have learned how to fill out the application form in detail. Let's move on to Frequently Asked Questions, FAQ. Here are a few items to note in relation to new applications. Changes have been made to the online application system compared to last year. When preparing the required documents, be sure to check the list of required documents and prepare them all. Also, check the items described in the remarks section. All required documents must be included in the attachment uploaded to the system, and any documents in a foreign language must include a notarization of the original and a notarization of a translated copy, Korean, as well as an apostille confirmation or consulate confirmation. On-site survey is conducted organizations selected through screening, and finalists are selected based on the comprehensive review of expertise of staff, training, and budget plan of the organization. Local operating organization will be visiting, and in case of linkage type, a domestic operating organization must attend the on-site survey. Next, we have answers to questions related operating institution. In case of the division of roles can be discussed through a MOU between the two institutions. In general, domestic operating institution is responsible for budgeting and settlement of accounts, and local operating institution is responsible for the operation of King Sejong Institute. There is example of a Memorandum of Understanding MOU signed by a KSI operator on page 15, 16 of the King Sejong Institute's operating guidelines. Independent and associated types are only classified according to the type of operation. There are no additional points depending on the type of application during the designation screening. Next, we have answers to questions related to operating personnel. For operating personnel and teachers, the labor costs can be set by the institution considering local pay levels. For directors, work allowance can be set according to the national price rating on page 61 of the King Sejong Institute's operating guidelines. It is possible to hold multiple positions as operations personnel and teacher. However, it is recommended to hire dedicated operational personnel should be employed to facilitate the institute smoothly. In addition, if it is difficult to secure a qualified teacher, the Foundation plans to provide maximum support after reviewing the application for a dispatched teacher from the King Sejong Institute Foundation. If there is no applicants for Foundation dispatched teachers in King Sejong Institute, pilot operation may be delayed or not available. Finally, let's take a look at the answers to questions related to operation and budgets. The annual subsidy of Sejong Institute is about 76 million won on average as of 2024. However, it varies depending on the price level of the country, the number of students, and the size of operation of King Sejong Institute. In addition, if you have any questions about the application for designation of the new King Sejong Institute, please contact this email, newksi@ksif.or.kr. This concludes the guidelines for the new designation of King Sejong Institute in 2025. We sincerely thank all the applicants for taking the time to watch this video.